Hi, my name is Deb McGregor of Life Full of Joy, and today I want to talk to you about resiliency. Now, it's a word that you may have heard before, but maybe you haven't had the opportunity to understand it or even learn how to bring more resiliency to your life and to your business. Resiliency is really about our ability to recover. Now, we all know that we've gone through a lot of stress over the past year. And this has actually been a challenge in our ability to recover because the more stressed we are, the more of an impact it's had on our body. And we've been using up so many reserves that we've actually had a hard time recovering back to the state that we want to be in. So I would love to share with you that I believe entrepreneurs are leaders, and good leaders know how to use resiliency as a tool. In fact, it becomes so second nature to them that they are some of the most resilient people that I know out there. And as entrepreneurs, we know what it looks like. We know what that battle can be like each and every day. So I'd like to share a little tool with you today on resiliency and really help you identify where you're at right now, where you want to be, and maybe some ideas of how to get there. I'm going to use my handy dandy little dry erase tool board here. And so what I want you to do is grab a sheet of paper right now, because you can do this right along with me. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to put a little line right here. All right, you can see my line. And I also want you to put something right there on that end and something right there on that end. And on the left-hand side, I actually want you to write the word recover. And on the right-hand side, I want you to write the word recuperate. And in the middle, if you like, you can put little markers there, okay? And it won't be exact and it doesn't need to be exact. And what I want you to do right now is think about where you're at right now on this scale. Are you at a time where, I'm pretty much just going from hot fire to hot fire and I am literally living in this recover time period? Or are you taking time to recuperate? Are you taking off a few days? This has really been hard for our entrepreneurs right now. We're having some challenges hiring staff. Sometimes we're the only one there working. And so this becomes hard. And at the same time, we know that without taking time to recuperate, it's harder to recover. Does this make sense? Because this is what I've been noticing, and I am pretty sure that you're probably noticing it too. So just pick a place on that scale. I'm just going to, for the purposes right now, I'm just going to circle a little place right there. So the next question to ask yourself is, okay, so what does that really mean? If I'm right here on this scale, what exactly does that mean? What does that mean in terms of how I feel? What am I noticing? And one of the things that I will often talk to my clients about is notice where you're feeling it in your body, because a lot of times our bodies are actually giving us clues before we even know what's going on. Some people notice it, they might get headaches, or some people might get nauseated. Like there's a lot of different ways that it can show up. The shoulders start getting a little hunchy. So pay attention to what that looks like right there. Then what I want you to do is we're going to make something that almost kind of looks like a triangle there. And I'm just going to make up that I'm going to write the word resiliency right here. And this place of resiliency is where we know that we are recovering at a rate, and that sometimes the recuperating is tying into it, so that ultimately we've got high resiliency, which allows us to be recovering fast. We are making faster decisions. We're able to deal with things as they come along. Then what I know that happens out here is it's all these things that affect this. So for example, it might be things like resentment. It might be things like frustration. I hope you guys can see while I'm writing here. It might be things like frustration. It might be disappointment. So what I want you to do is just jot down a few of the things that you have noticed that have really been getting in the way of your ability to recover. It could be it could be anger. It could be afraid. It could be anxiety. It could be any of those things, right? So what I want you to do is just jot those things around there because it's affecting this, right? Because what I know is that these arrows actually go a lot of different ways, right? It's almost like they're kind of going like this, then they might pack down, then they're back up, right? And what I also know is that when we take time to make sure that we are doing some recuperating, we will recover faster. And when we have good recovery strategies in place, we will be in a much more balanced place so that our resiliency, our ability to deal with that stuff is so high. We just do what we do and we move on with things, right? And I'm actually going to add to that. Not only do we move on with things, but in very effective and highly productive ways. See, what happens is when we are not recovering and not taking time to recuperate, sometimes the way that we are handling things may not be the way that we would want to be handling things. So, our goal is obviously to be in an optimal form so that we can be dealing with them in optimal ways. So now we have a picture of here's what's getting in the way. It's all these resentment, frustrations, anger, those type of things. We know that we need to take time to recuperate so that we'll have faster recovery. And we know that if we have good recovery strategies in place, we will be much more effective and we're really amping up our resiliency game. So let's just talk about a couple of recovery strategies that may work for you. Some people like to make sure that they're exercising on a regular basis. Some people will take time to write gratitude journals or maybe just express that to people. For some people, that recovery might look like coffee with a friend. For others, it might be taking the dog for a walk, throwing the ball for the dog, or if you've got other animals, a kitty that you take care of that you like to, put the little feather around the room and the kitty plays with. There are so many different types of recovery strategies, and I've actually put together a sheet that is filled with all kinds of recovery strategies for you. So I would invite you to download that for yourself. What I want to invite you to do is to get very intentional about making sure that you are taking time to put to play into play some of these recovery strategies because they are so important. And I also want to invite you to make sure that you are taking time to recuperate. It is so important. Our mental health as entrepreneurs is so important. And with just a few of these strategies implemented, you can deal with all the noise that's going to come in the middle. And you can become this like person that has this resiliency unlike anything that you've ever seen. And when you get that, that is the sweet spot for an entrepreneur. We do it all the time. It's getting more effective at doing it that will make all the difference. I hope this has been helpful to you. Please don't hesitate to reach out with any questions, lifefulofjoy.com, or feel free to email me, deb@lifefulofjoy.com. And don't forget to make sure you download those strategies that will help you with your recovery. Have an amazing day, and I just wish you the very best of success in your business. Thank you for being an entrepreneur. You truly are the heart of what makes everything work. Thank you so much.